live here today. It is the 23rd day of March, and we are the Sports Fans coming live to you. My name is Kellen Hansen, but they call me the Crimson Comet.
My name is Brady Fulmer, but they call me Lazy Snake.
I'm Prison Mike.
I am Jason Call, the Bearded Wonder.
It is so good to be back and live with you guys. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I can just say that I am so full. I feel like I've just eaten a large meal, and that meal is of basketball. Because I'll tell you what, in the last few days, I think my wife has gotten to the point to where she just wants to get rid of all of our television and streaming services because she is over college basketball. But I'll tell you what, I feel like it's a healthy dose. And so how are you guys doing? How have you guys been enjoying the last weekend?
Oh, so good. I'll confess something. On Saturday, I literally sat on the couch in my living room from 10 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. with only getting up to go to the bathroom, watching basketball and then UFC that night. I literally didn't leave my room.
I think that's a beautiful
thing. It was amazing.
Yeah, that is a beautiful thing. And it's the American dream, watch basketball. Yeah. But lot to talk about. We will get to college basketball, of course. But first, there are some things going on right now in the NFL, in the NBA, and even in the MMA. We're going to try to touch on that. We'll start off with the NFL. Jason, you there?
He's gone.
He left us. Well,
he saw we were talking about college basketball, and he just had to leave.
Hey,
made him sad.
We'll jump into this because I know that this is one we're actually going to get to talk about a little bit of BYU football today. That's okay with you. Just because this is an article that I read today that intrigued me in the NFL, and it had to do with the New York Jets. And essentially they're kind of facing a situation where they're kind of having to choose between Sam Darnold drafting a quarterback, and there are even talks about the Jets making a move to pick up Deshaun Watson. I want to hear your guys' thoughts and predictions as to what the Jets should do and what direction they should take this season in order to address the quarterback situation. I want to start things off with Jason on this one.
Sorry, guys. I'm having a little technical difficulty. What was that question?
What do you think the Jets should do with their quarterback situation? Should they keep Sam Darnold? Should they draft a quarterback? Or should they try to make a play for Deshaun Watson?
I don't know. I don't think they should draft a quarterback. That's just my feelings on it.
I can't hear him now.
You're muted. Brady, why don't you go ahead?
Okay. I'll kind of piggyback right on what Jason started with. I feel like the best option for them, granted, I don't think they'll go this direction because I don't think it'll work, but I feel like ideally for them is you don't pick up a quarterback in the draft, but you're able to somehow trade for Deshaun Watson. I'd imagine that trading for Deshaun Watson probably means giving up that number 2 pick. I would imagine. I think it would be hard for them to keep that number 2 pick and get Deshaun Watson with what they have on their roster. But I feel like that's the best method. As we've talked about on the show before, I feel like a quarterback who's proven himself in the NFL and has proven that he can play is a better option than someone coming out of college, pretty much no matter who that college quarterback is, because you never know what that's going to turn into. But the route I think they'll go with, I don't feel like they're going to get Deshaun Watson. I don't feel like he's going to get out of Houston very easily. So I honestly think that they're going to end up drafting Zach Wilson. I know that Corey Davis, the new Jets receiver, thinks that Sam Darnold will be their quarterback in the future, which I don't think is true at all. I feel like Zach Wilson will be drafted by the Jets with that 2nd pick, and Zach Wilson, unfortunately for him, will be the quarterback of the New York Jets.
Yeah. Mike, what are your thoughts?
All right, so I have a few different takes on this. First off, who knows what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson because all the allegations against him. That guy might end up in the clink here in a
He might
month
be.
or so.
He might end up on the longest yard football team.
Yeah,
He might be Mike's cellmate in a bit.
Yeah,
he might be. So I don't know, but as far as I think it all comes down to the Jets organization. I mean, are you willing to trade away your future to get a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, or do you want to draft someone and rebuild around them? And I feel like the Jets don't have much of a future to trade. I feel like even if they traded everything they had for Deshaun Watson, I don't think he could really. I mean, they'd improve. He'd make them a lot better, but I don't feel like they'd still be a great team. So I feel like the best option for the Jets is to hope that they get a good quarterback in the draft, like maybe Zach Wilson or Justin Fields, one of those two guys, and then try and rebuild around them because right now, even getting an elite quarterback, I don't think would fix all of their problems.
Jason, are you back? Can we hear you? Yeah, we can't hear you. I'll go. Yeah, here's my thing is I honestly feel like at this point, the fact that the Jets are fielding calls for Sam Darnold, I don't think is a very good sign for him. And here's why. I don't think they have faith in him like they used to. I think they've reached a point where it's more they're just ready to go in a different direction with both coaching as well as who they have. But I do think that Sam Darnold does have some value. I think that one of the things that they could do is try to get rid of Sam Darnold, try to trade him, and see if you can pick up some weapons so that if you do decide to bring in a quarterback like Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, they're going to be able to have some support. That way, for example, it looks like right now Zach Wilson is slated at that number 2 pick, and a lot of people have him going to New York. But if he doesn't have weapons, it's going to be tough sledding for him. So I honestly think that would be the best option for the New York Jets at this point. Like I said, I just don't think that would be the best thing going forward if they kept Darnold. Jason, what are your thoughts?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay, yeah, I'm back. Here's my thought. The Jets drafted Sam Darnold very high. We're very excited about him, and they ruined him. Okay? I'm a Zach Wilson fan, and I really don't want them to draft him because it's going to be the same thing. I don't think drafting a quarterback is the answer for that organization because they don't have any – they can't put a rookie quarterback behind that line. It's going to be a disaster. If I was them, I'd invest my draft pick into building a good offensive line first. See what Sam Darnold can do behind a good offensive line, and if he's still crappy, then go get somebody.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, no, and I just think that obviously Michael, it's a really good point. Deshaun Watson, I don't think is a viable option. We're not sure what's going to happen going forward, and I hope the allegations are false, but at the same time, he may be in serious legal problems. And so I think you're either stuck with Darnold or you're getting a new quarterback. I just think that that's the direction that they're going to go. And I don't think that they're content with Darnold at this point.
Part of me wonders if this thing with Deshaun Watson is just the Houston's GM trying to make some noise so he can't leave.
If he ain't gonna play for us, he ain't gonna play at all.
Could be. I think they're doing everything they can to keep him in Houston.
Mike, you may get a new cellmate.
I might.
You may. He might be better than your last one. You never know.
Yeah. All right. Well, wasn't Aaron Hernandez your last cellmate?
Yeah. And before that, apparently I was Dwayne Johnson's stunt double.
Yes, you were.
You lost some weight in prison, didn't you, Mike?
Yeah, I definitely lost some weight in prison. I also grew back my hair, as you can tell.
Yeah.
It was the Dementors.
Laser treatment, man, to get rid of the tattoos.
As well.
Mike is actually Samoan, believe it or not.
Wow.
All right, we're gonna do a new subject. We're gonna talk about this is another story BYU related, but this is kind of a quarterback competition that is starting to heat up, and I think we've talked about it a little bit, but I think that it needs to be discussed. The New Orleans Saints have a quarterback competition that is wide open since Drew Brees retired between Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. And it seems like right now there's not really any indication of who's going to start. But I want to hear your guys' predictions and your guys' thoughts. We're going to start off with Prison Mike on this one.
I really don't know, to tell you the truth. Just my initial thoughts is they paid Taysom Hill so much money. I feel like you almost have to start him at quarterback. I mean, what else can the guy be doing if you're paying him that much? I feel like so. I don't know. I definitely think there might be a competition. I really have no clue what's happening there. I don't know enough about the Saints organization, but just with the way that they paid Taysom Hill, I know they restructured his contract and everything. I feel like he almost like it's kind of a sign that he might be the one to start. But as far as who's a better quarterback, I don't really know. I know Jameis Winston was good in college, and then I kind of missed the time, like the few years he was in the NFL. I wasn't around for that, so I don't really know how he.
They did pay Taysom pretty good in that new contract, but Jameis Winston got a new contract too. Not as much as Taysom's, but Jameis doesn't do as much for the Saints as what Taysom Hill does in his position. I think it's going to be open. I also think, what the heck, go find some free agent quarterbacks that are kicking around right now. Give them a tryout and see if they work in your system. Because, I mean, Taysom as a quarterback showed he could win, but I kind of felt those were team wins more than the quarterback leading them to those wins. They can win with him, but I think they'd prefer to use him in other ways. Does my sound better, guys?
Yeah, sounds a lot
better.
better.
A lot better.
So, I mean, if I'm the Saints and Taysom shows he can do it, I'm still on the fence because he does so many other things for my team right now.
Mm-hmm. So I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately, ever since Taysom's contract has been restructured and Jameis got re-signed. First off, I think that Jameis Winston will be the starting quarterback for the Saints. I feel like unless you can go out and get like Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson, I don't feel like you're going to find a better option if you're the Saints in free agency. I feel like Jameis Winston still has a talent, and he can still be a good quarterback in the league with the right team around him. I think he quite had the team around in Tampa Bay. Obviously, we've seen what he can do, and I think that under coaching and a good team around him, he can be a good. I feel like Taysom Hill, they did pay him a lot of money, but as Jason said, he does a lot for that team. So I still think it was a little too much money, but so I feel like they just kind of re-signed Taysom Hill to be in the position that he was this last year, and I feel like they're going to hand the reins over to Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And here's one thing people have to understand. They did restructure his contract, but essentially what it is all years are voidable. So technically, like after this season, they could let him go and they wouldn't have to pay him like all $140 million. I know that there's a $9.7 million signing bonus, and I think it's like a $1.44 million guaranteed roster bonus. Like they did want to keep him around, but they actually ended up saving money from the cap by restructuring his contract. But we do know this: the Saints are going to start Taysom or Jameis. They wouldn't have re-signed both of those guys if they weren't content on having one of them as their quarterback next season. I think Sean Payton feels confidence in both of them. That's why it's an open competition. Because obviously, from an outsider's perspective, starting Jameis Winston makes more sense than starting Taysom Hill. right? He's proven himself. He's a guy who's thrown for over 5,000 yards. He's thrown over 30 touchdowns in a season.
As long as he throws to the to the player with the right jersey
Exactly.
on.
Exactly.
And that's a downside with Jameis is he throws interceptions.
But he got
He can see now.
Yeah. So hopefully, I mean, and that's the thing. Maybe Jameis does start, and if he shows that interception bug again, they pull him and throw Taysom in there. I don't know.
And that's the thing about Taysom Hill, though, is like he is going to be utilized even if he isn't the starting quarterback. But I also feel like he went 3-1 as a starter, and I agree a lot of those were team wins, but he did do some good things in that time period. And I just think Sean Payton sees something in Taysom that is really intriguing. And like the thing for me is I recognize Sean Payton's ability to put people in the best situation to succeed, right, as a coach. It seems like he's one of the coaches that he has a talent of finding ways to win games. And so I really do think that both of those guys could start, and I think both of them could be capable starters if they have the right talent around them. But yeah, no, I would have to say that I would lean towards Jameis Winston, just because I think overall he has a better skill set as a quarterback. Love Taysom though. I absolutely love what he's doing. I know if Jason's 8-year-old son Bronco heard us saying that Taysom shouldn't start, he'd probably be really upset with us right now. But we love Taysom, and he's still fun to watch.
And he's a chip off the old block, Bronco. He switched allegiances from the Denver Broncos to the New Orleans Saints so he can watch Taysom more often. So that's my boy.
There you go. Raising up.
We're gonna move to the NBA. I actually want Mike to talk a little bit about this one. Mike, some sad news coming from Los Angeles from an NBA legend. Why don't you fill us in on that?
I don't even know the story. I didn't read the article. I saw that Baylor died, but I didn't even actually read the article.
What did you say his name was?
Isn't his last name Baylor?
Yeah. Did you say Elton?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought you said Elton Baylor.
I just said his last name was Baylor. I didn't read the article, actually, so you will have to fill me in on it.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead.
So Elgin Baylor, who, according to Charles Barkley, is the most underrated great player of all time, passed away. I don't understand. I didn't really get how he passed away, but he was up there. He was like 87, I think.
Natural causes
when he passed away.
Just old age.
So, you know, legends got to die eventually, and it's too bad to lose him. But at the same time, you know, if I'm 87 and it's time to go, it's time to go. I'm not putting up much of a fight then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Brady, any thoughts?
Not too much. It's always sad to see a legend go. I saw that he was the first player to ever score 70 points in a game, so he holds that NBA achievement as he does probably others that I'm not aware of. But I agree with what Jason said, that I believe Shaq said, that he's underrated. I feel like you don't too much about him. You know who he is. You know that he was a Lakers great. But other than that, you don't hear about him like you hear about some of the other, like Clyde Drexler, Julius Erving, guys like that back in that era. You don't hear about Elgin Baylor as much, but definitely a legend. Sad to see him go, but 86 is a pretty good age. I'll be happy to live to 86.
Yeah, and to build on that, Elgin Baylor was part of the original Lakers dynasty way back in the day.
Before they were in LA. Yeah.
So the dude was a legend. He will be missed. He still is a legend. I've read several coach quotes. One was from Jerry West, and I'm not going to try to recreate the quote, but it was along the lines of Jerry West learned a lot of what he did in the NBA from Elgin Baylor. The logo, Jerry West.
Well,
so
and one thing that has to be taken into account is there have been 4 players in NBA history who have averaged a double-double. And he's one of those. He averaged 27.4 points a game throughout his career and 13.5 rebounds, which is, if you think about it, that's an incredible feat. 11-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA selection. And this was a guy who actually was serving in the military while he was actually playing in the NBA. And there were a lot of games where he wouldn't be able to attend because they interfered with his military duties and he had to go to like drill and do things like that. So, I mean, this guy is kind of a hero in my eyes and a guy that deserves tons of respect. And it's just interesting. Like, I know the name, but I never really understood how vital he was to the development of the game of basketball. But you think about it, 27 points and 13 over 27 points over 13 rebounds a game. Those are incredible statistics. So yeah, I mean, this is a guy.
And they don't make them like that anymore. I mean, could you imagine if even a backup player in an NBA team couldn't go to the game because he was going to drill? Like, it just doesn't happen that way anymore. So mad respect to that guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a guy, he has his number retired. And, yeah, I mean, obviously, prayers and thoughts are with the family. But at the same time, you're grateful that he was able to live a long life and that he was able to do what he did for the game of basketball, went on, became an executive for the Clippers, did a lot of really good things for the game of basketball. So next one we're going to talk about, we'll have Brady talk about this, is some of the injury bugs that have been going around the NBA. Brady, why don't you fill us in?
Yeah, so there's a lot of players injured right now in the NBA. Some notable ones that happened this past week, we have LaMelo Ball, who I believe he fractured his wrist, correct?
Yes.
I believe that's it. And they're saying that they think that's going to put him out for the season, which I guess we'll start that one and we'll move on to the next one. But LaMelo Ball, I feel like this is a really sad one. He had those Hornets going in the right direction. He was playing phenomenal. I definitely think he was pretty much a lock for Rookie of the Year if he didn't get injured. I think it'll probably go to Anthony Edwards now, who also has been playing great if he continues. But I guess the question is, how do you think the Hornets will do without LaMelo Ball? Do you think their playoff chances are done? Do you think their whole season crashes? Or do you think they still have enough to keep them in it without LaMelo Ball in there? Mike, let's hear from you.
All right. So obviously, along the lines of what you said, I do think LaMelo Ball would have won Rookie of the Year. So it is sad that he got injured. Now, if Anthony Edwards keeps playing how he is, I do think Anthony Edwards is going to win Rookie of the Year, which I feel like it's kind of cool because obviously Anthony Edwards was drafted number 1 and LaMelo Ball was 3. So it's nice to see some of the top picks in the draft play really well in the NBA. And as far as the future for the Hornets, just looking at this right now, they are 6th in the East. They're 21-21. They're at 500. And LaMelo Ball is definitely going to be missed. He has a big impact on the team, was a solid starter, was playing really, really well for him. But I still feel like the Hornets have a team that can still make it into the playoffs in the East, especially with how bad the bottom, pretty much if you're not the 76 Bucks, like everyone else in the East is not that great. So as bad as the East is right now, I feel like the Hornets definitely still have a really good chance of getting into the playoffs. Because they have players like Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier, you have Miles Bridges, some solid players that are in there.
So I just took a peek at the standings just to get a better understanding on this. And right now they are 8.5 games behind the first seed in the East at 8.5. The 9th team is the Bulls, and they are 10.5. So they're 2 games ahead of the bubble right now as far as getting eliminated. That's a pretty big gap. And the Bulls, if they want to get in, they're going to have to start winning games. And the Hornets are going to have to start losing. So I do like their chances of getting in. Is it going to be higher than a six seed? I keep saying seed, but that's not the term the NBA uses. It just got college basketball on the mind right now. No, but I think they're probably looking at a seventh or eighth seed into the playoffs, which is going to be kind of sucky just because the Nets or the Sixers aren't going to be fun to play. But it is what it is.
I personally think, it's really sad. LaMelo Ball is playing at a really high level. I mean, he leads the team in steals and assists. He's one of their top scorers. He's even one of their top rebounders. And obviously they were really excited about what he was doing for them. I mean, I think he helps them out a lot. So I think losing him is a big deal because when you have a guy that's able to contribute that much scoring the ball and passing the ball, and then he plays great defense, I mean, that definitely is going to create a hole in your system. And I think they were getting to the point where they were pretty much invested in what he was doing. But, you guys make a great point. Like the East, the bottom half of the East Conference, once you go outside of Milwaukee, I think it's not super competitive. There's not a whole lot there. And so I think that they're still in decent position to make a playoff push, but I also feel like you get rid of LaMelo Ball, their opportunity to improve throughout the season, I think, goes down, and I don't think you're going to really see them playing at a higher level. I do think you'll see them play at a diminished level without LaMelo. So, but
Awesome.
if you ask LeVar Ball, he'd be like, the Hornets never going to win a game. Because my boy never lost.
Did you see he thinks that Jello is better than LaMelo is? And he's like, these teams just don't know what they're talking about. My boy Jello is the best.
Yeah, he also said that he thinks Lonzo needs out of New Orleans. It's like, that's not a big enough market. He said it's not a big enough market, man.
He said Lonzo's playing pretty good there.
The thing that people don't understand is they really want to see my boys play at their best. They need to get my three boys in the same market on the same team, and then they'll dominate.
Oh my gosh! Damn that! Okay, let's stop talking about that.
I'm intrigued, though. I'm
He
intrigued.
does not need to be talked about anymore.
He's just trying to get his son, his other son Jello into the league is what he's trying to do.
Dude,
I think Jello is trash.
the thing about Lonzo is I think Lonzo's played his best year. Like he's
hands down.
And recently, I saw a video today. Magic Johnson said that he thinks that Lonzo has one of the highest basketball IQs he's ever seen. Like he said, his basketball IQs. And the thing is he's still super young. He's your age, Brady. Like he's younger than you are. And I think he's just going to get better. He's gotten better every season. But I mean, and LaMelo obviously has shown that he's a great player and he's going to be a star in this league probably. Dude, the only thing LiAngelo's done that's of note is he stole stuff when he was in China, and Trump had to bail him out. Like he had to like basically ask the Chinese government, hey, don't keep this kid in prison. Like cut him some slack.
That's why he needs to be in the NBA. He has quick hands. You get them skills.
Spoken like a true criminal right there.
Yeah, you
Mike's
guys
over
connect
here.
on the same wavelength.
Mike's over here like, man, LiAngelo's my new favorite ball brother.
No, what Lamar needs to do is start a different shoe brand, not charge as much, and then use all that money he makes to buy his own team and let his sons play for it.
Big baller brand.
Boise Spuds.
The Boise Ballers. There you go.
I just love that when LeVar Ball, when he came out with the Big Baller brand product, people were criticizing him. They're like, dude, like, why are you selling shirts for like $150? He's like, if you can't afford my products, you ain't a big baller. Never lost. Like, and it's like, dude.
That's terrible.
Oh gosh.
I don't know. I want to buy a pair of Big Baller brand shoes, man.
Why?
Just to rep it. Why? Because, Mike, think about it. If LeVar Ball can beat Michael Jordan one-on-one, imagine what I could do in my personal life if I had his products.
You make a good point.
You should start a GoFundMe, and I donate $0 to it.
Wow.
I was gonna start a GoFundMe to fund the Boise Spuds
You
NBA
still need to
team.
do that. It's happening.
We're gonna get people on board. I will be an investor in that, Mike. I will
I'm glad.
invest.
I'm glad.
Hey
got
guys, have you ever checked out the Big Baller Brand page?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I'm looking it
I
up
don't
now.
want to be distracting, but you need to go see this homepage picture.
Do
I
we
would do
wanna-
a screen share, but I don't know how to do a screen
do you
share.
wanna
You
screen share
totally
this?
should. Huh?
Do we want to screen share this?
Yeah,
Let's see it.
please
Let's pull it
do.
up.
Please do.
It's pretty funny.
Oh, man.
I'm excited. Golly.
Okay, but oh wow.
Like, what the heck? That's not even his kids.
Who are those two guys?
Can I be honest? It looks like before drug use, during drug, and after drug use. Like
So literally, looking at the shoes that he's selling aren't even of his sons either. They have the LeVar Ball's name on the shoes.
dude, look how much the elephant in the room shoe costs. $2,000.
The
Dude,
golden
he's got hot
ticket
sauce.
is
$5,000.
5,000, and it has LeVar Ball's name on it, not even his son's.
Dude, we need to buy some Stay in Yo Lane hot sauce, baby.
LeVar
Let's
averaged
do it.
2 points in college. His sons are way better than he were. Why would you ever want his name on your shoes?
Oh, the BBB collection, baby. They got women's Team Tina stuff.
Maybe we
Dude,
should get them to sponsor us.
What a guy.
I want to enhance the way I ball, okay?
Hey, in his defense, he does have some shoes on here for less than $200.
I'm gonna buy Mike some Stay in Yo Lane hot sauce, and
Do it.
and we're gonna have him eat it on the show.
No, I think we should
That's
just have it in
excellent.
the background of one of our videos at all times. And then if we ever come
How
up
much
with
does
a
it cost?
challenge that needs to be given,
Oh,
that's just the consequence.
it's only $15. That's reasonable. I don't think
Oh,
I'll
that's
be
not
buying. I don't think I'll be buying friggin' $5,000 shoes anytime soon.
The
Let's be
second
honest,
picture they
though.
have on here is hilarious as well. We kind of scrolled past it, but it's of the 3 guys again, and they're in like gorilla suits. It says "Gorillas in the Hills, go shop, go gorilla suit," and it's like the 3 of them sitting in a car in these black gorilla hoodies.
I just want to
Oh,
say though,
man.
like, I mean, I love me some. Have you guys ever seen when he was on the WWE?
Yes, I did see that.
It was pretty solid, man.
You gotta admire the hustle.
Distracted. We got distracted. Brady, do you
We
want
got
to
rid-
get us back on topic?
No, that was a fun
Injuries?
tangent, though.
Before we get back on topic, the one thing I do have to say is I did not think looking at that website would result in Kellen seeing anything where he could say, hey, that's pretty reasonably priced. It might have been hot sauce, but he felt it was reasonably priced.
Dude, I know it's but like $5,000 shoes, man.
Gosh.
I can't afford that, but I could probably splurge for some Stay in Yo Lane hot sauce.
That's doable. A lot
Awesome.
more doable.
Brady, why don't you get back to some other injuries?
Yeah, so another big one we have is LeBron James. And the biggest name in basketball right now is injured. And Mike and I have been talking a lot about this. First off, if you haven't seen that injury, it looks pretty dang bad. He has a high ankle sprain, I believe, and it definitely looks bad. And my opinion on this injury, LeBron, he's going to sit out for a while, but he'll definitely be back this season. And I honestly feel like it might I I feel it's definitely not good with the Lakers not having LeBron in, but I feel like it could help them in the long run because with the Lakers, I feel like it doesn't really matter what seed they end up in. I feel like even without LeBron and Anthony Davis, the Lakers will still be a playoff team in the West. And I feel like if the Lakers can get into the playoffs, have LeBron and Anthony Davis just completely rested, I feel like there's no stopping them. So I don't see this as an absolutely terrible thing for the Lakers. I feel like it's just going to rest the old James. He's old, even though he doesn't really play like it or show it. So I feel like this might actually do him some good.
So I actually disagree with that, Brady, and here's why. What was Anthony Davis's hamstring?
Yeah.
Hold on, I was just looking at the report.
I know that was Durant.
No,
That's
Anthony Davis
It's his calf.
I believe. Yeah, his calf.
Calf.
The interesting thing on
here's why.
James and Davis is they're both expected to be back on the same day.
Okay, but here's the thing is, and Jason, I know you're a guy like you look at a crack in the pavement wrong and your ankle goes. Yeah, like rest is like a really good thing, and obviously like they'll have a chance to rest up, but at the same time those are nagging injuries, right? Like a severe ankle sprain and like a calf sprain, those are nagging injuries. And so my thing is it's kind of hard to tell, when you're healed from those. And so they could come back, but if they re-aggravate those injuries, those could be, potential hindrances to them in the playoffs. Now, obviously, LeBron and Anthony Davis healthy, that is a Lakers team that's probably going to run right through the Western Conference playoffs and win themselves another championship. But I'll tell you what, if LeBron and Anthony Davis aren't able to get those injuries back or if they're not able to get back to where they were before those injuries, with those nagging injuries, that could actually be a real problem for the Lakers potentially come playoff time.
See, but where I disagree with that a little bit is I feel like the trainers and staff of NBA teams are so good that they're not going to play them unless they're ready. I really do think. Unless the injury lasts until the playoffs, but I feel like both injuries are definitely healable. Like they'll be healed before the playoffs.
But you never know that. Like that's the thing, though, is like you could say like, all right, like we've had them and it seems like they're ready to go. But the problem is like you can't put an exact timetable with certain injuries because certain injuries on some people last longer than they do on other people.
Yeah, but the staff's good enough; they're gonna know.
Yeah. And
to a certain extent.
Yeah, and Kellen, what I wish they would do with sprained ankles in the league is give you a severity of the sprain. Because you can roll your ankle, walk around, and be back on it the next day, or you can just jack it up completely and not walk for a week. The ankle sprain label is a really broad spectrum of injury. Where they're holding them out for this long, I tend to think it's pretty severe. That being said, LeBron could be pushing them to get, and that's the other thing is if the Lakers are looking at their seeding and want a certain seed, and LeBron's pushing to get back, and he tells the trainers, "No, I'm fine." Like, those trainers getting paid by the team that wants to win too. So I like to lean and think those guys are taking care of their players, and most of the time they do. But when it's crunch time, sometimes risks are taken. And I see what Kellen's saying. Like, don't take that risk until you absolutely have to.
I feel like LeBron for sure, and probably Anthony Davis too. I feel like they're seasoned enough, specifically LeBron, to know that the regular season. I feel like the point where they are in their career, it hardly means anything. And I think LeBron and the Lakers know that if they're in the playoffs at all, they can knock off any team in the West. So I do not think that LeBron will push himself to be back for a playoff seeding. And I think there's a 0% possibility the Lakers fall out of the 8th seed in the West. So I feel like LeBron's going to be super careful and say, if I'm back for the playoffs or winning a title, and I'm going to wait till I'm 100% healthy and we're coming back.
One thing that I do that does concern me a tiny bit. I understand where Brady says, like, as long as they're in the playoffs and they have LeBron and Anthony Davis, they should be okay. But I feel like in the West, especially, you don't want to drop too low in the seedings because then you have to face really good teams and you're going to get beat up just trying to beat those teams. I mean, if the Lakers had to go through the Jazz and the Clippers and some other teams like the Suns, any of those teams, like if they had to play one of those teams in one round and the next team in the next, it's going to wear on them a lot because I definitely think the Lakers can win it, but those are some tough teams still. It's going to tire them out.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing though, is like, but like, how, and there comes a line though, like, do you want to stay in shape or do you want to, like, because you have to do some sort of activity while you're out with your injury or else you get out of shape. And I know you can say, well, LeBron is a phenomenal athlete and all that. And yeah, he is, but you guys have to understand LeBron spends millions of dollars on keeping his body in good shape. And depending on the severity of his ankle injury, he may not be able to do some of the activities that he's wanted to do for a while. And if he gets back to it too early, because we know, I mean, you can say LeBron doesn't care about the regular season, but you guys have to understand LeBron also doesn't take nights off. He himself has said, I don't take nights off. He doesn't do the Kawhi Leonard taking breaks things. He wants to go. He loves playing the game of basketball. And I feel like one of the reasons why I enjoy watching LeBron play is because it seems like he takes every game so seriously, right? And so I just don't, I'm not saying anything's going to come of it. And I think hopefully he's able to, play in the playoffs at full strength. But with both his and Anthony Davis's injuries, don't be surprised if they're not playing at the same level that they were pre-injury. And don't be surprised if down the road, it leads to some potential problems for the Lakers. Not saying it'll happen, but it is a real possibility.
Fair enough.
And remind me again, why did LeBron, his last injury, what was it? It was a groin injury, right? In 2000,
yeah, that one was a groin.
2019.
And I feel like groins and hamstrings are things that are the most lagging. I feel like if you injure your groin or your like Kevin Durant's dealing with the hamstring right now, and I feel like those can keep you out forever, just nagging at you. So
yeah, for sure. But again, these nagging injuries, they do create kind of a problem. We're gonna move on just because we gotta talk some college basketball. Just a little bit report as to where our tournament challenge brackets for sports fans are at.
I'm probably dead last.
Right now, our top 5. Number 1 is Taco Bell Lover, which is yours truly at 420. Number 2 is Nunez Fan Number 1, which is Ashley Call. She is probably going to win the bracket, guys. She's going to pass me up.
Guys, you have to understand, she has watched less than 15 minutes of college basketball all season. And that's is surprising because I have it on most nights.
Yeah. So,
she must
there's
have soaked it up somehow. I don't know.
Yeah. So right now, Jason is ranked 14th, tied for 14th. The Bearded Wonder. Prison Mike is 21st, and Brady, you are ranked 18th. And then actually, I have 2 brackets. My other bracket, Comet Mania, is sitting in last place. So I currently have a first place bracket and a last place bracket. So, yeah, there's some interesting things going on there. But anyways, I just thought we'd talk about some of the major upsets, some of the games that surprised us, and some of our thoughts so far in the tournament. We'll start off with Prison Mike.
All right. Definitely, I feel like the 2 most surprising upsets that have happened so far is Ohio State getting beat by Oral Roberts and Illinois getting beat by Loyola Chicago. I feel like those have and there's been a lot of other really big upsets. I mean, Texas got beat, some other teams got beat, but I feel like that is definitely the biggest one. Those two are the biggest upsets.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts of really. Have you guys thought there's been some other upsets that have been insane?
Yeah, I'll go next. Yeah, so obviously, I will say this: Oral Roberts, man, I freaking love that team. Then not only did they like beat Ohio State, but then they go and knock off Florida to make it to the Sweet 16. Their leading scorer, Adams, man, I'll tell you what, I freaking will love watching that kid play. He is a fun basketball player to watch. They're just a fun team to watch. And then for Loyola Chicago, guys, like, can I be honest? They're like, I don't think anybody's giving them enough credit for how good their basketball program is. Like, didn't this team reach the Final Four a couple years back?
Yes, they did.
So they knocked off the number 1 seed in Illinois, which was a huge surprise, busted one of my brackets. But I'll tell you what, guys, they're going to make it into the Elite Eight. That's my prediction. They play Oregon State. They're going to be an Elite Eight team. Another surprising, surprise for me was seeing how dominant or how talented UCLA is. I'll tell you what, guys, like, and this is, as a BYU fan, I was kind of expecting to play Michigan State. They beat Michigan State. They handled BYU, and then they destroyed Abilene Christian. But I'll tell you what, this UCLA team is a lot better than an 11 seed, and I'm really excited to see what they're able to do. And then obviously, I'm just going to do one more. I promise. I'm done after this. I'll shut up. Syracuse, man, knocked off San Diego State, knocked off West Virginia. I think they have an opportunity to knock off Houston. I wouldn't be surprised if that one happened.
Buddy Boeheim.
Buddy Boeheim. Daddy's boy.
Well, I'm just going to talk about how we were expecting a lot out of the Big Ten Conference in general, and they crapped the bed, guys. They crapped the bed. And Big 12 is not far behind them. And you know who showed up that we didn't even talk about is the Pac-12. What in the little crap? Okay? Like, that was just so surprising to me. Oregon's playing with their hair on fire. Granted, they kind of got a freebie a couple nights ago, but they played really well. Was it last night they played? 2 nights ago. Whenever they played last, they looked really good.
Last night.
Yeah. So Pac-12 just in general has surprised me. They've done really well in this tournament.
Yeah. I agree with a lot of what you guys have said. I don't have too much new to add. First off, I just wanted to, it like cracks me up so much how Mike can't say Loyola.
I cannot say it.
Loyola.
One day.
It's like Toyota with L's.
Loyola Chicago.
There you go.
Good job, Mike.
Brady taught me how to say it, and I have to think of it in my head.
How are you
saying
it? Say it 3 times.
I want to know the strategy.
I can't. So the strategy is he told me to say Loy, so I have to think of the word boy and replace the B with an L, say Loy, and then Ola is in Spanish. Loyola Chicago.
St. Jean would be so disappointed.
It's hard to pronounce. Not really. I'm not that great.
Just think Toyota with L's instead of T's, and you're good, man.
Loyola Chicago, baby.
Dude, I feel like, first of all, them getting an 8 seed, I feel like they've been underrated since the beginning. I feel like they deserve better than an 8 seed. They were inside the top 20 this year, most of the year. Super good team. And I would not be surprised if we see them against Gonzaga in the national championship. That's how good they look. I feel like Loyola Chicago is one of the best teams this year in the tournament.
But let me just say, they are led by an absolute legend, Cameron Krutwig, baby. Cameron Krutwig.
He looks like he's 35.
Dude, Cameron Krutwig is my spirit animal. This guy deserves all the notoriety he is getting. This is a picture of Cameron Krutwig. I'm gonna screen share because this guy should not be. This guy does not look like an NBA player. He looks
I
like
don't
he
wanna
should
see it
be a
again.
chef in a French restaurant. This guy is a legend, man. A guy like that.
Kellen, you replaced Peyton Dastrup finally, my friend.
Oh, dude, I freaking love this guy. And the thing is I wouldn't say he's athletic, but dude, this guy can play the game of basketball. He was the
I can't see it.
conference
Did you share your
player.
screen?
Could you see it?
I can't.
No.
1 second. Can you not see the pictures? Okay, give me a second.
Oh,
Now,
there
now
you
you're
go.
going.
There we go.
This guy was
Here,
the
zoom in on
conference
it.
player. This guy was the conference player of the year, and he has got. He's not
That
an
one. Click on
athletic
that one.
fella. Which one?
Down. Or
Oh,
that
no,
one. That's a good
one.
one.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Cameron Crutwig, baby. Look at this. Look at this specimen, man.
He looks like he just got out of prison.
He's a baller,
Dude.
though.
Like, for real.
Dude, he's the conference player of the year, and he was huge. He was huge in their upset win against Illinois. I'll tell you what, this guy's got a crazy ball IQ. He plays the game so hard, and dude, I don't know what it is about him, man, but he's so easy for me to root for. So, dude, I'm telling you what, Cameron Crutwig, man, he's gonna lead Loyola Chicago to the Elite Eight at least.
I think you like him so much because it looks like he enjoys Taco Bell as well. I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Dude, I think it's Taco Bell. I think it's Taco Bell, KFC, and McDonald's, man.
Prison
Nah,
Mike.
I feel like he looks like a guy who would enjoy himself some Taco Bell.
Oh, dude, it would be
probably
such
where
an
they met.
honor. It would be such an honor to eat Taco Bell with Cameron Crutwig, man.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
just. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
One thing I do want to bring up is you guys can probably just all like tear this apart, but I really do. Gonzaga looks phenomenal, but I feel
Oh my
like
gosh, dude.
USC looks really good as well, and I'm really hoping USC beats Oregon and gets to play Gonzaga because that would be an awesome game to watch, I think.
Well, and that's like honestly the one team. Them and Baylor. Baylor's looked good and everything. Don't get me wrong. Baylor's looked really good. But can I just say, Gonzaga has looked absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I figured that they would, but they don't have a weakness, man. They have 3 of the best 10 college basketball players in the country. Between Suggs, Kispert, and Timmy, those are 3 of the best college basketball players in the country. And they're going to be hard to beat.
But that's why I'm really hoping that USC gets to play them in the Elite Eight because I feel like of any team USC is going to prove to, I don't know, maybe, and Gonzaga will probably still win, but I think USC can give them a run for their money. They have to be just about the tallest basketball team in the country. They are long. Those guys are tall, long, and athletic.
Like, USC's go-to inbound play from the baseline is an alley-oop. Like, I've seen that play from them more than any other team I've ever watched. Just really long, really tall, really athletic. And they're going to be a matchup nightmare for Gonzaga. They haven't played a team that's built that way all year.
Granted, USC still has to get through Oregon. I mean, Oregon has looked really good as well. So there's a chance they'll lose that game. But if they do get to play Gonzaga, I would be really excited to watch that game.
See, but you say like they're a matchup problem for Gonzaga. I think Gonzaga's a matchup problem for them. You know, and I do think one thing about USC that's been impressive is they do have length, but they're also very athletic. But at the same time, like I don't think they've seen a team like Gonzaga. I felt like against Oklahoma, Corey Kispert kind of had a rough first half. He picked it up near the end, but I'll tell you what, like if they get their whole team going, they're just going to be so hard to beat. I mean, they're just so deep, man. And between Suggs, Timmy, and Kispert, there's not a better trio in basketball. I don't think I can't even really recall a team that had a trio this good, like ever in college basketball. I mean, I'm sure there is. Maybe Michigan's Fab Four, but man, I'll tell you what, Gonzaga looks like a national championship caliber team, and it's not just hype; it's legitimate. Like
They're going to get beat by Creighton. I'm just kidding. I don't think that at all.
I will say this though, like if I had to, I would stick with my pick. If I had to pick a champion who I thought was going to win, and then I'll let you guys say after. I would still pick Gonzaga as the favorites to win this tournament. I think Gonzaga is got to be the favorites to win, and from what I've seen from them, they're on track to get it done. Brady, what are your thoughts?
Ugh. I really, 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 really do not want to go with Gonzaga because I can't stand all the looks of the players on their teams. They drive me nuts. Mike and I were having like a hate on Timmy party the other day, but I think
I hate that dude.
You don't like the handlebar?
He's a scumbag.
No, he is a terrible person. Just watching him play, he looked like the biggest douchebag on the court. Pardon my language. After everything,
no.
I know. I'm
Come
sorry.
on, that mustache is
I
sick.
couldn't think of a better word, but I did not like watching him play at all.
There are better words
every
than
time
what
he
you
scored.
used, Mike. Pardon Mike's language, everybody.
Come on, Mike.
Oh, Mike, your mom's gonna watch this.
That's okay.
No, I like Timmy, man. I like watching him.
He's a cocky bugger.
He is. He's good though.
Who are you going with, Brady?
Oh, I'm going with Gonzaga.
Jason?
Guys, I'm staying with Baylor.
That's a good pick too.
Baylor's looked good.
All right, I don't know, because what I predicted for my first bracket, everything
Ohio
is destroyed. State? Yeah, like everything's just wrecked. So probably what I pick right now won't matter either. But I think USC is going to beat Gonzaga and win it all. With how they played, watching them last night against Kansas, they looked really good. So if there's anyone who can beat Gonzaga, I think it's USC. Obviously, they have to get past Oregon, but I'm gonna go with them just to switch it up a little bit. I mean, Gonzaga looks great, and they probably will win, but I'll switch it up and go with USC.
The thing that people have to account though for is to beat Gonzaga, you have to score a lot of points. Right?
Well, they beat Kansas. They were up on Kansas by 40.
Yeah, no, they destroyed Kansas. Don't get me wrong; they had a great day, but to beat Gonzaga, you're gonna have to score 100 points. Like the last time, because Gonzaga's gonna hang at least 85 on you. They scored 87 against Oklahoma, and honestly, I didn't think they actually played nearly as good as they could have against Oklahoma. They hung 98 on Norfolk State. They could have probably hung up 150 if they really wanted to.
That being said, you have to dictate a pace against Gonzaga, which is really hard. I mean, you look, the closest anybody has gotten to Gonzaga's final score is 9 points. Okay, they have won almost every single one of their games this season by double digits. Like, these aren't close games. I mean, Mark Few's got a system right now, and these guys know how to control the pace of the game. So if you're going to beat them, you've got to be able to set your own pace and make them play at your pace, which I don't think anybody can do right now, with the exception of some of the higher caliber teams in the bracket, which are dwindling. I think Michigan may be able to do it if they're on their best game, and I think Baylor can do it, and maybe USC. I've seen a lot of good things from them, but man, after playing Oregon, and then they're going to be forced to play a pace game against Gonzaga, that's a tough draw right there.
And that's the thing, and I honestly think that's kind of what it comes down to is, and even if Gonzaga's behind, they can shoot their way out of a hole. You know, between Corey Kispert, who's one of the greatest shooters I've seen in college basketball maybe ever, and then Jalen Suggs and then some of their other guys, they can shoot their way out of a deficit too. And if they get hot, they just extend leads. And so I just don't know if I don't know. I'm not saying they can't be beat, but whoever's going to beat them is going to have to play their best game, and they're going to have to go punch for punch with them.
I agree.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. Sweet 16. The NCAA tournament will resume. I believe is it Thursday?
I think it's Friday. It could be Thursday.
Friday.
No, the first games are Saturday.
First games are Saturday. So Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, let me check just to be positive, but they should. The first ones for the Sweet 16 should be Saturday.
Okay, so Saturday will be the first games of the Sweet 16.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, so there's some really good matchups that I think a lot of us are looking forward to. It's been an amazing tournament so far. I definitely haven't been disappointed. I've gotten to the point to where I've just decided I don't care about my bracket that much anymore. I'm just gonna cheer for their underdogs because my bracket's already busted. But we're gonna have to wrap things up just because Brady and Mike I know need to go here in a couple minutes. We're gonna do a C-squared moment of the day, and then we're gonna sign off. We're gonna start off with the prison Mike.
Great. My C-squared moment of the day. I can't think of anything right now. So my C-squared moment of the day. I mean, college basketball is awesome. I love watching it. But this weekend, I got to go home and watch my brother perform in the musical, and that was actually pretty fun. I mean, it's in Cokeville. There's not a whole lot of talent musically wise that is going to come out of Cokeville. Like there's no professionals, but they put together a good musical, and I really enjoyed watching it. My brother
What was
kind
the
of like
musical?
it was Guys and Dolls. So my brother was a funny sidekick, so he made me laugh watching it. And they did put together an impressive show with the resources and talent. So,
Is that Tyler?
yeah.
Good job, Tyler. Proud of you, Tyler.
Good job, Tyler.
Yeah. Woo.
All right. Brady, how about you go next?
Ooh, I've been thinking. My C-squared moment of the day. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to go with the fact that this weekend I probably watched at least 20 hours of basketball between Saturday and Sunday. Actually, if you include Friday, it was probably more than that. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, other than like leaving for church and a few things, I literally did nothing else except watch basketball. And I think a lot of people may think that's super sad, but I don't think I've had a better weekend in a long time. So that's got to be my C-squared moment of the day. I'm all full of basketball.
All right. I'm going to go next, and we'll finish with Jason. My C-squared moment of the day is the fact that this weekend we get to go to not only a Jazz game in Vivint Arena, but we are also going to be able to watch UFC 260 at Buffalo Wild Wings, which as a sports fan, I could say I need this weekend. I haven't been to like an actual sporting event. Literally the only sporting events outside of Western, who shout out to the Western Wyoming Community College Mustangs, will be playing tomorrow, has been Cokeville when they played Mountain View. That's about it. So I'm really excited for this weekend. Been looking forward to it for a while, and I'm really excited for it. So that's my C-squared moment of the day. Jason?
So my C-squared moment of the day is I was actually going to be along the lines of what Kellen was going to say. My oldest son is turning 9 on Friday, and I'll get him on the show on Thursday so we can sing happy birthday to him or something. But getting really excited. He's kind of turned into a little turd because it's the week of his birthday. But other than that, really excited for him. We're going to have a good weekend. And then spring break coming up.
Happy birthday, Bronco. We're happy for you, man. Anyways, well, that's it. We're going to be doing the show on Thursday. Look for some content to come out this week. Sorry, I know that said that last week, but it will be out this week, I promise. So we're going to be signing off. This is the Crimson Comet.
Lazy Snake.
Prison Mike.
And the Bearded Wonder.
And remember, oh,
Jay.
G.
Brother.